world around regulation and incentives that they put in place around land use and agriculture and important things to local economies. You engage the industry, and again, we have a wealth of data that can help make more risk-aware decisions and more investor-sensible investment decisions as well.
I'm being very crude here in order to get over a point, but are you saying that someone who wants to buy a particular property, whether it be for personal use or business use, needs to think about the insurance implications much sooner before they close a deal?
If you're buying a property or investing in a cat-exposed zone, and let's face it, that area all over the world is expanding, and the risks are expanding from flooding, from wind, from wildfire. Just a few of the examples. Yes, you need to get to your insurance advisor, your risk advisor, or the businesses that are helping you develop your strategy to begin with, and you need to get them.
Is this going to lead to properties becoming blighted, whether in the private property?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We have to now accept that is a risk.
That is the case currently, and there are public-private partnerships that exist around the world. There are public programs that exist around the world that are learning a great deal about the rapidly evolving risk, and some of those incentives that have enabled development in cat-exposed area are going away.
Now, one of the things you're doing is community-based protection. Yes. In other words, you're trying to develop something new for those who can't afford insurance or won't be able to afford insurance because it'll get much more expensive because of what we're talking about. What are you trying to develop there?
Well, I firmly believe that the role we play, again, through the signals we send, is really an important role. I think most tend to look at us, at the insurance industry anyway, as a means to finance risk. But we have a wealth of data to help advise around investing in resilience and risk mitigation up front. And so, again, when we get engaged earlier, we can play an important role. We were talking about the increased frequency and severity of cat loss events around the world.
You've used that phrase several times, cat loss.
Catastrophe loss, okay. Weather-related catastrophe events. And so, again, we've been collecting data on these types of events. We've been in business since 1871. So we have a wealth of data, as does the industry, on these issues. Well, when an event happens, in more developed economies around the world, only about 50%, close to 50% of the risk is insured to begin with. You get to lesser developed economies, that protection gap is even much greater than that. And so those asset owners haven't gone through the rigors of going through a review from a risk point of view. And so that enables investment alone in cat-exposed zones. But we put together a program that we call community-based catastrophe insurance that we're working with governments around the world. And in fact, one of the first programs we sold a while back now, back where I live in New York City. And unsurprisingly, when a flooding event ravages New York City, who are the most exposed, but of course lower income and lower middle income areas, and they don't have insurance, and so the risk ends up being financed by the government. Well, we put together a parametric based program that also creates incentives around risk resilience and building back better, so that when that trigger is hit and the proceeds of that financing goes to New York City, there are incentives in place to build a more resilient.
Of course, John, you're looking at it therefore from the developed world point of view. I mean, New York City, etc. What about vast areas of the globe where insurance doesn't come easy to anyway?
That's right. But we're talking to lesser developed markets all over the world about these programs. Again, while it's risk financing, to me, longer term, the more important aspects of it are the incentives and the structures that we put in place to invest around resilience and risk mitigation.
National and regional governments, however you want to define it in different countries, do they understand these greater risks and therefore the greater role that they will have to have in providing cover or guarantees?
I think in most cases they understand the risk. Depending upon the political system or political will, do you have will you push to put these kind of programs in place, or even change regulation? Again, listening earlier to the panel before, the types of regulatory changes that were proposed would certainly be helpful around risk mitigation going forward. But there are a lot of political hurdles, of course, to get those things done. But we can, again, by structuring these programs, put more private-based market type solutions into local locations around the world that can make a difference over time.
Final thought, John, how overwhelming potentially is all of this? You employ 90,000 people. How easy is it even to change the mindset of those working for you about the enormity of what you're facing in so many areas of risk at the moment?
It's a great question. Our colleagues are passionate about our ability, though.
But they can still be overwhelmed or
find
it difficult to take in.
Look, the entire dialogue, here throughout the conference is overwhelming. But when I think about our capabilities and how uniquely we're positioned to help the world, I can think about no better way for us to focus our time and effort than on this conversation. And what I would tell you is that our more than 85,000 colleagues are very, very passionate about these issues. And so we have a role to play, and I'm excited about it.
But you as chief executive have to manage it all.
Absolutely. We're investing in our capabilities to help advance these issues.
John Dole, thank you very much indeed for sharing with us your thoughts on where risk and resilience is going. Thanks,
you. Nick. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Now let's move on. How do we drive ambition and innovation? Well, how does a country and government do that? I'm delighted now to welcome the President of Romania, His Excellency Klaus Iohannis. Welcome to the floor, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Chair. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to express my appreciation for your interest in climate change, particularly in addressing this major challenge through innovation. Over the past few days at COP28, I had the opportunity to address mainly governmental actors, fellow world leaders. However, I firmly believe that in effectively responding to climate change, governments need to develop a strong partnership with businesses, financial institutions, research and innovation entities, and NGOs. I'm therefore glad to be here today with innovators from all these sectors. Romania, my country, is situated in Central Europe, in a region sometimes perceived as having a large carbon footprint. However, few people know that Romania has actually reduced its greenhouse gas emissions with more than 2/3 in the last 3 decades, while multiplying its gross domestic product. Building on this track record, we are committed to simultaneously grow our economy and further reduce emissions. In this regard, we need transformative and innovative technologies at accessible prices. Dear innovators, the green innovation landscape in Romania is very dynamic. Large university centers, such as the ones in Bucharest and Cluj, innovate in sustainable building materials and energy efficiency applications. Companies in Romania are advancing the heat pumps technology, which we anticipate will be key to decarbonizing the heating and cooling sector across Romania and the European Union. Research and innovation can help strengthen and better adapt agricultural production to climate change, both in Romania and worldwide. At COP26 in Glasgow, Romania was among the first countries to join the Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate, an initiative seeking to address climate change and global hunger through food systems innovation. The Romanian endeavors are part of the European Union's wider innovation efforts. The European Union is the promoter of the most advanced emissions trading system in the world. The European Union is also an innovator when it comes to climate finance and financial incentives for climate action. At the same time, the European Union is a leader in the research and development of energy storage and carbon capture solutions, both essential for reaching net zero emissions. Romania is interested to develop, to deploy, but also to manufacture green technologies and contribute in this way to international green value chains. Analysis published by the World Bank are indicating Romania's export competitiveness in subcomponents of the wind value chain, such as electric control and distribution boards. Romania is an increasingly attractive host for green technologies manufacturing. Through the Just Transition Fund, my country actively supports the development of batteries manufacturing in regions where the local economy is currently still dependent on coal. Also, major car manufacturers in Romania are redirecting their production towards electric vehicles. Distinguished audience, synergies between green and digital transitions facilitate effective climate action. To support developing countries in reaching their digitalization and sustainability goals, Romania joined this year the European Union-led Digital for Development Hub for projects in Africa and Latin America. Accelerated global climate action is reliant on technology development and transfer to countries, so countries around the world can effectively implement their national climate plans and deliver on the Paris Agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important assets that we have in the fight against climate change are our citizens. We must make sure that they have the right skills to innovate and take part in the green transition. This will ensure economically and environmentally sustainable growth. Solid education systems will generate the research, development, and innovation capacity required by the green transition. We also need to innovate when it comes to curricula and teaching practices. Romania has made steps in this regard by including, for example, what we call the Green Week in the school year structure, starting as of this school year. Climate change constitutes an extreme threat to the planet and poses an existential threat to its people. Only if all of us, the people across the world, will come together and join forces, will we be able to effectively respond to this unprecedented challenge. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I hope they do rise to the challenge.
I hope so. I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much indeed.
Success.
Thank you. Right, we're going to take a coffee break, or juice break, water break, whatever kind of break you'd like. But we're going to resume then, and I mentioned this 20 minutes ago, on the breakthrough stages, which are being run by my colleagues Selina and Mark, either in the Marrakesh room or the Global Goals room. That's after the coffee. Lunch will be at 1:30. We'll be coming back here.